Yeah. आओ मैं बताऊं तुम्हें राज की बात, तुम्हारे हाथ एक खजाना लगे रातों रात। कहानी नहीं लड़के अब तो ये हकीकत बन गई है, पढ़ना लिखना अब आसान, दुनिया आगे बढ़ रही है। तो इंतजार कैसा, अपना मकसद तुझे याद, दुनिया का हर एक जवाब जैसे रखा तेरे हाथ पर। बदलो अब अंदाज थोड़ा, बदलो ये पुरानी रीत, आगे दुनिया से रहना है, पक्की है तुम्हारी जीत। मकसद है तुम्हारा के कुछ बन के ही दिखाना है, मकसद है हमारा सारी दुनिया को सिखाना है। अब रहा ना दौर वो, अब नया दौर आना है, दुनिया को बता दो अब ये मकसद का जमाना है।
ये दौर है तुम्हारा, मकसद है तुम्हारा, उठे कलम लिखे वक्त जैसे सब है तुम्हारा। एक वक्त एक आवाज देखे सब खोले राज, बदलेगा इतिहास, नया दौर नई साज। कोई भी सवाल हो जवाब मेरे पास, कामयाबी की खुली हुई किताब मेरे पास। चाहे कोई भी हो मसला, कोई भी हो बात, रखा एक एक चीज का हिसाब मेरे पास। खान on the beat, hey.
Assalamu alaikum dear students. Welcome to BCAT English and assalamu alaikum to those who are watching me on YouTube. And today the topic for discussion is how figurative language is used in our literary pieces. So let's see how they are used in prose and poetry both, right? And then we'll solve some standalone questions as well. So without wasting time, let's get started with the topic. So before we go for the MCQs, right, we have got a passage here. So let's read it and try to see how these figurative language or how these literary terms, figure of speech, those have been used in these kind of things here, right? Especially in this passage. So let's read it together and then come down there to solve all those questions given at the end. So the passage starts like, the forest was alive, its trees standing tall like ancient sentinels guarding a forgotten kingdom. The wind sang through the branches, its voice a soft lullaby that echoed across the woods. Sunlight filtered through the leaves, casting a golden haze that seemed to paint the forest with warmth. अब यहाँ तक हमें पता चल रहा है कि the passage is going like, it's talking about a forest and it is describing it so far. Then the path ahead twisted and turned, as if leading to a secret destination known only to the creatures of the wild. Beneath the trees, the forest floor was a quilt of moss and fallen leaves, each piece woven together by time. A lone deer appeared from the shadows, its graceful steps barely making a sound on the soft earth. The air was thick with the scent of pine, a fragrance so pure that it seemed to cleanse the very soul. Then last में क्या करेगी? As the day faded into dusk, the sky was painted with shades of pink and purple, a canvas that seemed to capture the last moments of daylight. The forest was at peace, a sanctuary of nature untouched by the world beyond. तो एक छोटा सा पैसेज हमने पढ़ा and it's talking about a forest and its calmness and its beauty and everything, right? So here are lots of figures of speech have been used here, right? So we have to see how they are working here and how they are beautifying this passage and how they are giving different meaning to whatever we are reading, right? So for seeing all those things, right, let's get started with solving these MCQs. The very first question here is the comparison. Its trees standing tall like ancient sentinels guarding a forgotten kingdom is an example of what? The very first question is about this sentence. Its trees standing tall like ancient sentinels guarding a forgotten kingdom. So when you see it, you have a word used here that is like. Whenever there is a comparison using like and is, such comparisons or these comparisons are called simile. When you have got, okay, here Sami is already taking the answer there, right? Thank you, Sami, for being with me over here, right? So it's what? Simile, because we have got these words like, is, and such. Ali Heather is also there, right? Thank you for commenting here. Team, I would like to see the comments on YouTube as well. If you have any, please just keep switching on, right? Okay, ji. Moving on to the next question. The very first question is, if I just describe the rest of the things as well, then hyperbole is something where we exaggerate a lot, right? And metaphor is something where we have got implied comparison of things, and personification is something where we personify somebody. Means when we give, life to, non-living things, there we use personification. So from the given options, the best option here is B option, that is simile. Right, moving on to question number 2. I would like you to solve it first, and then we'll have a discussion on it and we'll have comment on it, right? The people who are watching me on the app, you can simply take there, or even if somebody is watching on YouTube, he or she may also take the right options and we'll have a discussion on that, right? Okay, so the question number 2 here. The phrase, the wind sang through the branches. The wind sang through the branches. This word singing is, characteristics of a human being, right? It has been given to a non-living thing, and that is the wind, right? So when you have these characteristics assigned to a non-living thing, that becomes what, as I've already told you in the previous MCQ here, right? That becomes personification, right? So here we have got the A option correct. This is what, an example of a personification, right? So the wind sang through the branches, as if the wind is singing there, right? It has been presented like that. So here it is A option correct, that is personification, right? Team, agar YouTube पे कोई comment तो I would like to see that as well. Okay, right. So here the rest of the options are onomatopoeia, when you have got the natural sound and the words sounding almost the same or alike, they are called onomatopoeia. Hyperbole is exaggeration, as I've already told you, right? And alliteration is the repetition of consonant sound at the beginning of words or phrases to give a different kind of, reading, and that attracts people, that sounds great. Okay, moving on to question number 3 here. What's the question, by the way? The word pant, in casting a golden haze that seemed to paint the forest with warmth, is an example of what? Panting. This pant is what? If you just see it properly, then it is more like what? Giving different name to something, right? When you have a comparison, when you have an implied comparison, giving directly name to something, that is what? Metaphor, right? If you could just mention the question number as well, it would be easy for me, Aliada, right? Or the people who are, taking the right option, please mention the question number as well, just like somebody has done it. Sami, yes. If you are to answer, then you have to write like 3A or 3B or 3C. In that way, I would be just coming to know which option you are talking about. Otherwise, it's going to be a bit difficult for me to recognize which question is being answered there, right? So here you are saying that it's the word pen is what? Metaphor, right? Why is it metaphor? Because we have a comparison, but the comparison is implied or hidden, right? You are directly naming something, and that's what we call metaphor, right? To compare two things, but you are not using like, as, or such. Rather, you are directly naming that thing, on the basis of their, sameness, or there's some characteristics. Okay, ji. Moving on to question number 4. What's the question, by the way? The comparison, the forest floor was a quilt of moss and fallen leaves. What it could be? The forest floor was, it means you are directly again naming something, right? It was a quilt. Then what should be the option from the given option? What should be the right option from the given options, right? So here we have got simile, metaphor, personification, and hyperbole. For question number 4, which option is the most suitable one? Yeah, Mariam, you are right. Bushra Mariam, you are saying that third ka jo aapne B ko tik kiya, that's perfectly all right. And fourth ka, could you just please team agar thoda isko scroll down kare to? Okay, Sami, it's again the B option correct. We are giving directly name to something, right? It means you are talking about that floor, your forest floor, and you are giving it a name that is quilt, means you are giving directly another name to it. It means you are using a metaphor here. Is that clear? Okay, moving on to question number 5. The phrase "a lone deer appeared from the shadows" suggests that the deer is what? Personified. Deer can appear, human beings can also appear, right? So it's not personification, they're personified, right? Then part of a group, it's not the case here. Loud and active, these are not even making sense, right? So it is what symbolizing the isolation or symbolizing the loneliness of that deer, right? It is the B option correct. It means a lone deer appeared. It symbolizes the isolation of that particular animal, who is the only one there, strolling in that wood maybe. So it is the B option correct. So far so good, right? There is nothing difficult to just make you guys have any kind of troubling there, right? Okay, then question number 6. The phrase "its graceful steps barely making a sound on the soft earth," okay, highlights the deer's what? Its graceful steps barely making a sound on the soft earth. Can you guess which option is correct here? Because it is making a beautiful scene in our mind, right? When the words are used in such a way that appeals your senses in creating a picture or creating some kind of taste or anything, right? If that is appealing your senses, that's what we call imagery. It creates an image in your mind, or it creates such an image, that appeals your senses. So here it is imagery, means we can visualize the thing there, right? Its peaceful steps barely making a sound on the soft earth, so we feel as if the deer is walking so slowly that it's not, rather it is tiptoed, right? And it's moving on, but it's not making any sound, so it is creating an image in our mind. So it is what we call, this is what we call imagery, right? So this is the C option correct here for question number 6. So far, yeah, you are right. All Fatma, Muhammad, Sami, and I guess could just scroll it down a bit. Okay, Ali, Heather, and all of you are right, correct in taking C option. Right. Some of you don't have name, because here Animus Rabbit is written. So you are also appreciated. By the way, if you just mention a name, dear must have a good name, right? It would be easy for us to shout out your names over here. Okay, question number 7. The phrase "it's rather," is it the same thing again coming? Okay, okay, it is a different question, but the line is same, right? The phrase "its graceful steps barely making a sound on the earth" emphasizes the deer's what? The word is already there, so you don't need to yes, bother about it, right? Speed is not there, strength or loudness, these all are in a way antonyms for whatever said up there, right? These are the opposite of whatever said in the line. So it is describing the gracefulness, so it was obvious, right? So moving on to question number 8. YouTube पे कमेंट तो टीम जरा साथ साथ दिखा दीजिएगा, right? If you have any comment there, so I would like to read them as well. Wa alaikum assalam, Sarfraz. And you can please define the figures of speech in short. Okay, figures of speech are the words, they don't have the literal meaning, rather they give different meaning to whatever is said, or they are used to beautify your language. These are what we call figurative language. जब आप किसी figurative language की बात करते हैं तो आपको literal meaning समझ में नहीं आता, right? जैसे मिसाल के तौर पर हम पर्सनिफाई करते हैं, मैं आप इस पेन को पर्सनिफाई करूं तो ये मेरे हाथ से गिर जाए, and if I say it has jumped out of it has jumped off my hand, तो इस वक्त मैं इसको क्या एक ह्यूमन बींग बना के कह रहा हूँ कि जंप करना हमारा यानी लिविंग बींग्स की एक खासियत है, इट्स कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स ऑफ अ ह्यूमन बींग, राइट? बट वी आर गिविंग द सेम कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स और सेम quality to something that is non-living, right? In that case it becomes personified, or it becomes a literary term. The personification itself is literary term, right? तो इस तरह की लैंग्वेज यूज करना जो डायरेक्टली समझ में ना आए, या पोएटिक लैंग्वेज यूज करना, इसको हम कह सकते हैं, राइट? सो दीज आर कॉल्ड फिगरेटिव लैंग्वेज, फिगर्स ऑफ स्पीच. आपने देखा होगा शायरी वगैरह में, चल मैं उसको थोड़ा उर्दू से हवाला दें तो तलमी, तशबीह वगैरह, राइट, इस्तिआरा वगैरह, दीज काइंड ऑफ वर्ड्स आर कॉल्ड फिगर्स ऑफ स्पीच इन इंग्लिश. ओके जी, going back to the apps comments, right? Question number 8, students, अगर आपने टिक किया है तो I would like to see that, right? The statement "the air was thick with the scent of pine" The air was thick. This thickness is having all the meaning in it, right? Team, अगर जरा कमेंट अगर ऐप के दिखा दें बच्चों ने क्या टिक किया, I would like to see it, right? Okay, 8 का सारे टिक करे B. Okay, you're right. Why is it B? बाकी सारे बच्चों ने टिक क्यों नहीं किया? I would like to know it as well, right? Is it difficult? Because he is saying the air was thick with the scent of pine, the trees, pine trees. With the scent of pine trees, the air was thick. It means the writer is exaggerating a bit, rather not a bit, exaggerating a lot, and he has used a hyperbole there. Hyperbole means to use, चल इसको मैं और आसान कर दूं तो to exaggerate in a way that sometimes it seems very difficult to believe in things, right? तो उसने कहा कि उस सेंट से इतना थिक हुआ था कि आगे जुमला आगे हमारे पास कंटेक्स्ट में था, राइट? सो इट्स हाइपरबली. He is over exaggerating on the thing, on this sense, saying that it was thick. Okay, is that clear? If it's clear, then moving on to question number 9. आप लोग टिक करते जाएं टीम, right? Because it's exaggerated as the air was obviously literally not thick. You're right, Mariam, right? It was not, the way he has said, right? There was scent, but it was not that thick. इसको जिस तरह से exaggerate किया गया, that's why it is hyperbole. Question number 9 में कह रहे कि the sky was painted with shades of pink and purple. Painted. अब यहाँ पर क्या हो रहा है? Painted. The sky was painted. Who has painted the sky? Is it metaphor, simile, personification, or irony? Personification तक तुमने already बात की थी. Irony means to say something and mean another thing. It means irony, right? To mean the very reverse of whatever we are saying. So it's metaphor again, right? Painted, ये word पहले भी आया था कहीं, right? When you are using this painted, it means using metaphor there, right? Directly आप किस चीज की बात करें. Okay, so A option is correct. And there comes the last question for this portion, means the prose portion, right? Then we'll be studying a poem and try to see how this figurative language is used in poems as well, right? Or in poetry as well. So the last question is the description. The forest was at peace, a sanctuary of nature untouched by the world beyond, is an example of what? Can you just imagine what's going on there? Is there any picture coming in your mind by reading this line? I hope yes, right? The forest was at peace. So you can see a serene nature there or situation there, right? And a sanctuary of nature untouched by the world beyond. So you can see that, calmness of the forest. So it is symbolizing something, right? It is symbolizing the peaceful environment of the forest. So in this way, it's the B option correct. It's not hyperbole. It's the reality that when you go to a forest, you feel as if, you are in tranquility. You are in such a situation where you feel peaceful, right? So personification is not there. Irony is not there. So it is symbolism, means symbolizing the peaceful environment, right? So this is how you have to see the things in prose when these figurative figures of speech are used in prose, right? You have to check all of them in such a way. Moving on to the next thing, that is how these figurative language, or how these figures of speech, how this figurative language is used, in poems. So let's see. Let's read the poem together. Till then, rather, while you read this, right, I just would like to go to YouTube to see if there is any comment. So the team is saying there isn't any comment so far. So coming back to it, let's read it together. The moonlight dances on the sea, a silver ribbon wild and free. The wave whispers secret old, telling tales in stories untold. Stars blink in a silent cheer, as night falls calm and clear. So far, it's a small poem, right? We are reading it and trying to see now the MCQs and see how these figures of speech have been used here. The very first one is, the moonlight dances on the sea. Moonlight is dancing, so you can easily judge which option should be the best choice, right? Means the moonlight is dancing. You must have watched that is a meme, right? Where Ishan was saying that letters are dancing. It means he was personifying the letters, right? So just like that, here we have got moonlight dancing. So it is personification. A option is correct. So most of you are correct, right, in taking this thing. Fatima has ticked, Sarah has ticked it, right, and almost all of you are correct. You have selected the right option. Second question. A silver ribbon, wild and free. Now, is an example of what? A silver ribbon, wild and free. Can you see these characteristics are of any wild animal? Can you see it? And that has been given to the silver ribbon. It means he is saying that the silver ribbon is wild. It means he is doing what? The writer is doing implied comparison of these two things, silver ribbon and the wild animal, maybe, right? So it is the implied comparison. So we have already told you, right, that implied comparison is called metaphor, right? So it is metaphor here. Silver ribbon has been given the characteristics of wild animal. In that way, there is a comparison. So it is, a metaphor. Secondly, if you just see in a far-fetched way, it could be personification as well, by the way, right? Silver ribbon has been given the characteristics of a human, or not human, rather a living thing, right? So it could also be possible, but the best choice over here is B option. It is metaphor. Is that clear, everyone? Yes, as Mariam has ticked C option as well. That's why I said that both could be possible. But when you see there is an implied comparison, that's why I'm going to go for the B option. Otherwise, C option can also be correct. Both of you are correct. Good, shabash. I like the understanding, by the way. Okay, question number 3. What's the question? The phrase, the waves whispered secrets old. Whispered. Waves are whispering. So what should be the answer? It's obvious, by the way. 3 का ये बिल्कुल. Who has ticked it, by the way? Sami. Good, Sami, shabash. Team, please keep scrolling down, rather not down, it should be scrolling up, right, to see the rest of the comments as well. शाबाश. ठीक है, it's easy, right? चीज़ें आसान है तो हम उस पर ज़्यादा टाइम वेस्ट नहीं करेंगे, राइट? अगर यूट्यूब पे कमेंट है तो टीम से साथ दिखा दीजिए, अदरवाइज वी आर मूविंग ऑन. सो इट्स personification again. Moving on to question number 4. Telling tales in stories untold. Telling tales. Today, let me read another thing just like it so that you may be just understanding what I'm trying to ask, right? Today, the teacher is sitting on the table and taking tea. Ta, ta, ta sound. Can you see it? Can you listen it rather not see it, right? So, T is repetitious here, right? One T is here. The second word is also getting started with a ta sound. So, telling tales, making it alliteration, right? So, is the C option correct? Okay, when you have consonant sounds, repetitiously being, used at the front of, rather, at the beginning of each words, coming together, or phrases that makes a different sound. It attracts people, right? That's what we call alliteration. Okay, ji. It's easy, right? Moving on to question number 5. Quick confusion, if you have any, right, you can simply ask question to discuss the point. Otherwise, just moving on quite smoothly. There comes the fifth question, or question number 5. Stars blink in a silent chair. Stars blink, blinking. Who blinks, by the way? Human beings, right? We blink our eyes. Just like that, stars are also blinking. You must be seeing me right there, okay? So stars blink. It means, again, we have given the human qualities, or a quality, to these stars. It means we have met them as a human being. We have presented them as a human being. So we have personified it. Let me talk about this person. Personification means to make it a person, right? So personification is something like that. So it is the A option correct for question number 5. Okay, ji. Moving on to question number 6. Okay. Stars in a silent chair. Though the same line is same, right? But question is quite different. Is an example of what? Can you guess it, by the way? Here, personification is not the answer. Now I'm saying it, right? Okay, who is saying about what? Mariam ka question dikha sakte hain if you do. Couldn't it also be hyperbole though? Let me see what is. Stars blink in a silent chair. No. Hyperbole is something where you are exaggerating a lot, there is something factual, and if you are presenting it in such a way, blood of river, such kind of words could be exaggeration, right? You are exaggerating too much that it is, very difficult to believe in something. So here stars are, given the human quality of this blinking, people blink. So human beings blink, right? So that quality has been given to stars. So here it is personification, not hyperbole. Hyperbole is something where you exaggerate. There is something fact, maybe you are talking about something factual, but you are exaggerating in such a way that people think that it's no more the fact, right? Okay, ji. So question number 6. 6 ka A. Good. Who has ticked it? Sarah, shabash. Oxymoron. Okay, good. Sami has also ticked it in that way. So let's talk about oxymoron. As I said, it's not a personification correct for this option, right? Though it is there, by the way. Okay. But I said now we are talking about this part. Silent cheer. It means when you join two opposite words to give different meaning, that's what we call oxymoron, right? For example, if I say silent, or rather unseen presence, that would be a kind of oxymoron. Liquid fire, as Milton has used already in his poem, what was that? Paradise Lost. In his, he said that liquid fire. Just like that, हमारे पास खामोशी का शोर, अगर मैं यूं कहूँ, right? Just like here, silent cheer, almost the same, right? When you join two opposite words to give different meaning, that is what we call oxymoron. So here, the right option is A. Is that clear, everyone? दो डिफरेंट वर्ड्स जो कि बिल्कुल मुख्तलिफ हो, उनको ज्वाइन करके हम डिफरेंट मीनिंग देना चाहे, दैट्स व्हाट वी कॉल ऑक्सीमोरॉन. ठीक है? ओके, डेड लाइफ मिसाल के तौर पर, डेड लाइफ, we are living a dead life. It means either you should have a life there or you should be dead, right? But you are saying dead life. ठीक है? जैसे इस्लामाबाद के बारे में कहा जाता है, it's a dead city. So if it is a city, it should be alive, but it is dead. Okay, anyways, coming back to it, it's oxymoron, the option is correct. Moving on to question number 7. YouTube के comment team अगर है तो साथ दिखा सकते, if not we are moving on. Okay, the phrase is night falls calm and clear. Okay, as night falls calm and clear. Yeah, what should be the option here? As night falls calm and clear. It is interesting, by the way. Though you can see as here, but it is not the comparison for which this as has been used, right? Otherwise, as or like is used for what? Simile, right? But this as is not used here for simile. This has to be kept in mind. As night falls, this is the situation. Calm and clear, right? So you have to see this calm and clear has been given, rather this name has been given to the nightfall. So it should be, creating such an image in your mind that as night falls, calm and clear. जैसे अगर मैं गलत नहीं हूँ तो फरहत बादशाह का एक शेर है, कितने चुपचाप से लगते हैं शजर शाम के बाद. So this is what exactly that image that is being created in your mind, right? तो यहाँ पर जो एक आपके जहन में वाकई में लगता है कि शजर खामोश है, चुपचाप बैठे हुए, so that image is created in your mind. Something like that is happening here. So it is imagery. An image has been created in your mind. It's not simile, as I said earlier, right? यहाँ पर चूंकि हम लोग एज के कंपेयर नहीं कर रहे, right? As night falls, this is a phrase. Then what that creates, that nightfall, a nightfall, what that creates a situation that is calm and clear. That's why it is imagery. It is creating an image in your mind. Okay, one ka C. You are there on one. Question number 1, it's 7. Question number 7 ka A is correct, as I said. It is creating an image in your mind, that's why it's imagery. ठीक हो गया? This as has not been used for comparing. अगर मैं ये कहूँ कि nightfall is as calm as, in that case it would be, simile. But here this is not the case. It is simply a phrase, as night falls. This is just a phrase, and calm and clear that situation becomes. So this is what the image that is being portrayed by the writer here, or the poet here, right? That's why we have to say this one an imagery, right? So it's A option correct. Okay ji, if there is an ambiguity, you can think about it anymore, right, and try to understand it. So this is what we talked about poems as well, how these literary figures, literary terms are used in poetry as well. Now there are some standalone questions almost the same, but you have to take them as well. टीम अगर यूट्यूब पे कोई कमेंट है तो साथ दिखा दीजिएगा. If not, we are moving on. Okay, right. So we have got standalone questions now. From the options, we have to read the question carefully so that we could be understanding. From the options, identify the figure of speech in the below sentence. Thomas ran faster than the wind. Okay, irony means to say something and mean another thing. अगर फॉर एग्जाम्पल किसी बच्चे ने क्वेश्चन को गलत टिक किया है, समी ठीक है, अगर मैं कहूँ वेरी गुड, इट मीन्स वो जो गुड जो मैं कह रहा हूँ ना, इट डजंट मीन that he is doing something good, right? I mean to say it's really bad to say something. Okay, so we are coming back to it, right? Antithesis के बारे में अभी नीचे ऑप्शन है. Antithesis mean to be the very opposite of what is said. बिल्कुल अपोजिट, तकरीबन सेम है एंटीथेसिस और आयरनी, तकरीबन सेम है, लेकिन उसमें भी डिफरेंस है. वील टॉक अबाउट इट. ओके जी, ऑप्शन सॉल्व करते जाएंगे तो आपको खुद वो चीज़ समझ आ जाएगी, राइट? ओके, क्या जुमला कह रहे हैं कि फ्रॉम द ऑप्शंस आइडेंटिफाई द फिगर ऑफ स्पीच इन द बिलो सेंटेंस. थॉमस रेन फास्टर देन द विंड. ओके, थॉमस रेन फास्टर देन द विंड. इसमें क्या क्या हो रहा है, क्या कहा जा रहा है? Hi Robo, you said hello, so that's the answer for that, right? If you have any query regarding this lecture or anything, right, you can simply throw your questions. Otherwise, we are actually dealing with it. Okay, moving on to तंज करना. ओके जी, सभी बिल्कुल तंज करना कह सकते हैं, ठीक है. अरेनी को आप तंज करना कह सकते हैं. ओके, सो व्हाट वाज द क्वेश्चन? क्वेश्चन नंबर 1 का आंसर किसने टिक किया है? फास्टर देन द विंड का मतलब है ही इज एग्जेजरेटिंग अ लॉट, राइट? वो उसकी स्पीड को इतना ज्यादा, जैसे गोली की तरह तेज, मतलब एक बंदा जितना भी स्पीड भागे गोली की तरह तो नहीं हो सकता, राइट? बट इवन देन ही हैज बीन प्रेजेंट इट इन सच अ वे, दैट्स व्हाई ही द राइटर इज यूजिंग हाइपरबली हियर, राइट? ही इज एग्जेजरेटिंग अ लॉट. इसलिए यहाँ गिवन ऑप्शन में क्या है? थॉमस रेन फास्टर देन द विंड मीन्स दिस लाइन इज representing a kind of sentence that is exaggerated a lot. So here over exaggerated sentences here, that's why here hyperbole has been used. ठीक हो गया. Moving on to question number 2, the phrase foolish wisdom is an example of two opposite words, right? Two opposite words joined together to give another meaning, right? तो यहाँ पर हमने इसको क्या कहा था, if you remember, oxymoron कहा था, right? Are you with me, students? तो अब जल्दी से टिक करते जाएं. क्वेश्चन नंबर 2 में हमने ऑक्सीमोरॉन इसलिए टिक किया क्योंकि वी हैव गॉट टू डिफरेंट वर्ड्स ज्वाइन टुगेदर टू गिव डिफरेंट मीनिंग हियर. तो फूलिश विजडम, ठीक है. ओके, क्लियर, शाबाश. मूविंग ऑन टू क्वेश्चन नंबर 3. क्या कह रहे? विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग सेंटेंसेस इज एन एग्जांपल ऑफ यूफेमिज्म. व्हाट्स यूफेमिज्म? Euphemism is to present some harsh thing in a soft way. चलो मैं इसको कहूँगा. When something bad has to be announced, if we are using a beautiful language for that, to just minimize that shock, for that situation we use euphemism to present bad thing in a good way. चलें इसको आसान कर लेते हैं. अब जरा चेक करें यहाँ पर क्या कौन सा ऐसा जुमला है जिसमें euphemism इस्तेमाल हुआ है. किसी बुरी चीज को या बुरी खबर को या कोई भी बैड थिंग को पॉजिटिवली पेश करना ताकि दूसरे बंदे को शॉक ज्यादा न लगे, राइट? फॉर एग्जांपल लाइफ इज अ ड्रीम. तो यहाँ लाइफ इज अ ड्रीम मतलब वी हैव यूज्ड अ मेटाफर हियर, राइट? यू आर सेइंग दैट लाइफ इज अ ड्रीम. लिव लाइक देयर इज नो टुमारो. सो इट इज सिंपली just an imperative sentence, right? It doesn't have any kind of thing there. The doctor passed away today morning due to prolonged illness. अब यहाँ passed away है. This word has been used for died. The doctor died today. अगर हम यूं कहते तो डायरेक्ट मरने की बात आ जाती है. Passed away is a better word or better phrase for this died. ठीक है. अगर आपको यूं कहें कि आप फेल हो गए कहने के बजाय आपकी सप्ली आई है, बेहतर लगता है, अच्छा लगता है, ठीक है ना? आप फेल हो गए कहें तो थोड़ा बुरा लगता है. So something like that. So to present the bad thing in a good way is what we call euphemism. So here it is the C option that is correct. Clear है? सबको समझ आ रहा है? I hope yes, right? If there is any comment on YouTube, I would like to see that as well. Okay, moving on to question number 4. Since we don't have any kind of comment over there on YouTube, so we are coming back to app, right, to talk to our students who are already enrolled there, right? Okay, the question number 4. इमरान रजा बिल्कुल 3 का सी टिक है, बिल्कुल ऐसे ही है, शाबाश. Okay, if people are commenting from YouTube as well, it does mean कि आप लोग enjoy कर रहे हैं क्लास को, right? Okay, moving on to question number 4. जी क्वेश्चन नंबर 4 को क्या करें? आइडेंटिफाई द सेंटेंस employing apostrophe. apostrophe किसे, पहले तो हमें ये समझना पड़ेगा, राइट? apostrophe में हम क्या कहते होते हैं? when you are directly what should I say? I actually directly talking to something dead or some non-living thing. वहाँ पे आप लोग directly मुखातिब हो रहे हो, right? When you are talking directly to something. For example, he is asking death to come and relieve him of his grief. In that way, he is just talking to something. वहाँ पे apostrophe इस्तेमाल होगा, right? Apostrophe इससे मुराद यहाँ पर ये है to talk to something or directly address something, right? So he is addressing death here. Death, come and relieve me of this grief, right? So he is asking the death to come. So he is talking, or he is addressing this death. So that's why it is what we call apostrophe in literature. 4 का हमारे पास A ऑप्शन करेक्ट है, राइट? ओके, इमरान रजा बिल्कुल आपने बिल्कुल ठीक टिक किया है, राइट? 3 का C है, दैट्स राइट. सो मूविंग ऑन टू क्वेश्चन नंबर 5. ओके, गुड. इमरान ने अगर आप साथ में क्वेश्चन में मेंशन करें तो मेरे लिए आसानी होगी, इमरान, राइट? दो आई होप यू हैव टॉक्ड अबाउट क्वेश्चन नंबर 4. ओके, मूविंग ऑन टू क्वेश्चन नंबर 5. क्या कह रहे हैं? Choose the correct figure of speech used in the below sentence. Trust me, our professor is no fool. Our professor is no fool. जैसे हमने उससे पहले ऑक्सीमोरन पढ़ा था, राइट? उसमें हमारे पास सिचुएशन है कि when you are joining two opposite words and giving different meaning, that is oxymoron. When you are joining two negative words to give positive meaning, I don't know nothing अगर मैं कहूँ तो इसका मतलब मैं जानता हूँ, राइट? I don't know nothing. Nothing को मैं नहीं जानता का मतलब हुआ कि वो जानते हैं, something like that, right? इस तरह से he is not weak अगर मैं कहूँ तो weak भी नेगेटिव है, not भी नेगेटिव है, तो इसका मतलब he is strong. इस तरह से जब हम वर्ड जोड़ते हैं, when you are joining two negative words to give positive sense, that's what we call lighties, right? वहाँ सिमिली नहीं है, हाइपरबली नहीं है, आयरनी नहीं है, ये तीन टर्म्स ऑलरेडी हमारे पास डिस्क्राइब हो चुके हैं, राइट? That is what we call lighties. Lighties means to join two negative words to give positive meaning. यहाँ पे no fool का मतलब है वो बेवकूफ नहीं है, राइट? मतलब वो कोई wise person है. So here no or fool both are negative, so it is giving the positive sense here. Is that clear, everyone? I hope yes, right? 5 का B option बिल्कुल correct है. Then there comes the last MCQ for today's lecture, right? And you can simply go for ticking it. Then inshallah we are gonna wind up this class, right? So identify the figure of speech in the below sentence. John Milton has said, I personally like this writer, Paradise Lost, Paradise Regained, and there are lots of other things he has written. So John Milton, it's better to reign in hell or rule in hell than to serve in heaven. It's better to reign in hell than to serve in heaven. So somebody was asking about antithesis, right? Here it comes. Antithesis it is. It means whatever he is saying is not true. Rather, it is the very reverse of whatever he is saying, right? जो कह रहे हैं कि it is better to reign in hell. कहाँ से better है? जब आप hell में जाएंगे तो idea होगा, right? Whether it's better or not, right? And then to serve in heaven. Even being in heaven, if you are a servant there, it's better. Reality तो यही है. But उसने इस तरह से कहा कि हमें ये जुमला सही लगने लगता है. But this is what we call antithesis. Antithesis और चल एक और टर्म यहाँ पर by the way बता दूँ, paradox तकरीबन मिलते जुलते हैं, right? When you are saying something, there you use paradox, जिसमें हम लोग कुछ करते हैं होता कुछ है. Irony, paradox और antithesis तकरीबन मिलते जुलते हैं, but there are differences. So for now, this is the A option that is correct for question number 6. It is better to reign in hell than to serve in heaven is an example of antithesis. So that's it, guys. I hope you like this class today, right? And as usual, you have got a homework here, and that is to do the test of figure of speech test 1. And you are also given a point there on the app, that is point number 1. So you have to do these two things to come back in the upcoming class, right? So that's it for today, and I would like to pay thanks to those people who watched me on YouTube, especially Raza and the people, right, who commented there to make this class more lively. So inshallah, we'll have the next class after break, I guess. Till then, take care. Allah Hafiz.